It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Cameron's Brewery have that kind of logo of the lion on their pump clips and their general kind of marketing and advertising. It's all about the lion. So their sub-brand, I think, is really clever. It's Tooth and Claw. So big lion's tooth, big claw. I love that. I love that kind of side project that they've gone for here. It's a wax topped bottle and it's called Prairie Dog Wheat Wine. 10.7% ABV. 330 milliliter bottle. It was sent to us by the wonderful Top of the Hops Beer. Top of the Hops Beer. Check out Top of the Hops Beer. They got some incredible beers on their website. I'm going to get this out. There's a bit of a wax top on it, but I think this is brilliant from this brewery. Absolutely brilliant. They're a regional brewery, a small regional, that have given their head brewer or their brewing team license to go and do what they want. And they've come up with kind of nice special beers like this. This was happening because I was involved with one of these kind of regional brewers brewing craft beers on a side plant. This was happening 10 years ago. But, look at that, it's stuck. But what I would say what was happening 10 years ago was the brewers didn't really understand the craft beer industry 10 years ago, or the regional brewers, whereas I think Camerons have stood on the sidelines, watched what's going on, and realised they need to do something different. They need to not just brew a craft beer, but they need to let their side project become a craft beer brewery. And that means letting the brewing team brew these wheat wines and these wax tops and just thinking outside the box, generally thinking outside the box. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So beer in the glass, we had a one finger white head. Good levels of carbonation. It's a amber coloured ale. Would I say wheat wine, wheat beer, wheat wine? If I'm honest, I would expect it to be a little bit lighter in colour. This would suggest that, and I suppose this is the thing, Cameron's Brewery are probably used to brewing amber ales at 4% ABV, 4.2% ABV. It's almost as if, even though they're a side project, they still have that kind of amber look to their beer. These regional breweries seem to think that amber coloured beer is the way and the only way to kind of brew beer. But yeah, wheat wine, I would expect it to be a little bit lighter than this, but that's not really a massive criticism so far. Let's get the aroma. It smells good. You can call it wheat wine, you can call it barley wine. Some brewers go down, or most brewers go down that kind of barley wine route. It definitely smells like a barley wine, but a barley wine with spices. It's peppery and spicy and a little bit earthy. Touch of licorice. Vanilla, biscuit malt, but you can feel the alcohol tickling the nose hairs, you know, of that 10.7% ABV. You can feel it almost kind of as you're breathing in. You can feel it tickling the nose hairs. Let's dive in. It smells good. Cheers, everybody. It's quite carbonated. This is very, very clever. This is a very, very clever, thought out beer from the history books. They've made it look and sound. Again, this is not a criticism. This is just Cameron's experience here. They put the wax top on. They put it in a trendy looking craft beer bottle. But really, what this is a beer from their history books. Every single brewery that has been around for generations have a beer log, have a brewer's log. A brewer will write down the recipe of a beer they brewed from day one, from the day that brewery opened. So what somebody's done from Cameron's is that they've looked through this old beer log and they've found an old barley wine recipe. And I can't fault them for that, because generally some of the old barley wine recipes were some of the best barley wine recipes in the world. I only know this because I went to Shepherd Neame and I interviewed the head brewer at the time, terrific guy, and he was brewing a beer called Shepherd Neame's, it was called Generation Ale, and it was very much like this. Shall I get it? Yeah, let's get it. It was very much like this. A celebration ale in a wooden box. This is by Whitbread. And this is in fact their celebration ale. Not the generation ale, but celebration ale. And this is a beer, I think it comes in at about 7 or 8% ABV. Barley wine style beer, strong ale type beer that Whitbread have. They've gone through their own 250-year history. It's more or less it's 280 years now, Whitbread, but back then when that was made, it was 250 years. So they went through 250 years of brewing history, found this recipe, bang, we're going to brew that beer. And you cannot help but applaud a brewery like Cameron's for using their history. They've been around a long time. Why shouldn't they dig into their vaults, their brewing traditions, and bring back a wonderful beer like this and rebrand it as a craft beer? Because probably when they first brewed this, what are we calling it again? Prairie Dog wheat wine. When they first produced this wheat wine, the word craft beer wasn't around. Yet they were still producing beers like this. Which is essentially craft beer, isn't it? Sweetness, licorice, pepperiness, spiciness, earthiness, lots of biscuit malt, sweet malt flavours coming through, vanilla, licorice again, I'm getting that touch of alcohol on the back end. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And it's so drinkable. It's so refreshing and drinkable for that 10.7% ABV. It's not over thick, it's not over bodied. Interesting beer. And this is probably where they tell me that it's a brand new beer and it's never been brewed by Camerons before in their lives. Here we go. This strong beer has the quintessential flavours of a US wheat wine, smooth and sweet with hints of honey and bread from the malted wheat, but with a warming alcohol finish. The malts are pale ale, malted wheat and Munich. The hops are Centennial, Citra and Simcoe. And the love is unfined and vegan Fenry. It was bottled on the 14th of the 12th, 2021. It was bottled about a week and a half before Christmas. I'm drinking it on the 2nd of March 2022. So the beer is about 2.5 months old. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a 10.7% ABV wheat wine. I could open this in 20 years' time and it would still be looking and smelling and tasting as good as this beer is smelling and looking and tasting today. It really is lovely. I love that little spring of carbonation that pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. I generally miss honey. Honey and vanilla are my slight weak points in reviewing beer. I don't mind holding my hands up to that. I'm not perfect. So I have missed the honey in the beer. After it's been pointed out to me on the side of the bottle, it's definitely there. I like the beer enough to give it a Stone the Crow's 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 beer from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!